Winter evenings come early in Boston. As snow began to accumulate on the cobblestones of Beacon Hill, Vanessa Morrison gazed out of her office window. As the marketing director for an IT company, she had just finished another long day. In the photo frame on her desk was "Which city are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. And hey, make sure you watch till the end. Something's going to happen that you won't see coming." Smiling man, her father Thomas, who had passed away 3 years ago. Family comes before everything. His voice echoed in her memory. Vanessa sighed deeply. Since her father's death, her relationship with her mother Margaret and younger sister Emily had gradually grown cold. While Vanessa appeared calm and composed on the surface, she held a deep reservoir of strength inside, a strength often misunderstood as emotional distance by her family. She powered down her computer and grabbed her coat. She had originally planned to stay late, but a wave of melancholy nudged her toward home. "I've sent over the documents for tomorrow's meeting," she called to her assistant. "You should head out too. Your family must be waiting." Back in her apartment, Vanessa headed straight to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of single malt whiskey. The spacious apartment was sleek and tastefully decorated. Travel photos from around the world adorned her walls, but family pictures were notably few. An envelope lay on the table from her mother. She sat down on the sofa and opened it. Inside was an invitation, a party to celebrate her sister Emily's husband Jason's promotion. Vanessa frowned. Not again. These gatherings always left her feeling like an outsider. Since her father's death, her mother Margaret had grown increasingly dependent on Emily while simultaneously drifting from Vanessa. Emily had recently married Jason, and they'd just purchased a beautiful home in an upscale neighborhood. The phone rang. Vanessa glanced at the screen. "Mom? Good evening, Mom." "Vanessa, did you get the invitation? We're having a lovely party at Emily and Jason's new house. You'll be amazed, they've done so well for themselves. I still can't believe they own such a beautiful place at their age. Such smart kids." Vanessa listened silently. Her mother didn't know, or maybe chose not to know, that it was Vanessa quietly covering a major portion of Emily and Jason's mortgage. She had kept her father's words close to her heart. Family comes before everything. And so, she'd helped. "Yes, I got the invitation," Vanessa replied. "I'm planning to attend." "Wonderful. I wasn't sure, you're always so busy." Vanessa swallowed her response. Her mother had a way of minimizing her career. "Vanessa is so cold, never shows emotions. Always so formal." But what no one realized was how much Vanessa had given up silently, persistently for the sake of her family. "I'll definitely be there, Mom." After hanging up, Vanessa took another sip of whiskey. Outside, snow fell heavily now. She glanced at her father's picture and smiled faintly. "I'm following your advice, Dad. Family is important." What she never told anyone: every month, she paid a significant portion of her sister and brother-in-law's mortgage. While Emily and Jason flaunted their perfect life on social media, Vanessa quietly made it all possible and never once asked for thanks. Still, she decided to go and to smile. She reread Emily's email. Attached were photos of their new house, a pristine 2-story home with a groomed front yard, and the caption, "Our dream home." The next day, between meetings, Vanessa browsed a high-end department store for a suitable gift. Her eyes fell on a designer crystal vase, perfect for Emily's living room. She handed over her credit card. "Please gift wrap it," she told the clerk. "Special occasion?" The clerk asked. "Yes, it's a housewarming present for my sister." Vanessa smiled. A new beginning, she thought. Maybe for us too. That evening, she returned home early to get ready. She chose a wine-red dress, elegant but understated, and paired it with simple accessories. Standing before the mirror, she saw the woman her father once called his brilliant, beautiful daughter. "Well, let's go." With a deep breath, she picked up the gift and drove toward the upscale Boston suburb. The snow had stopped. A cold wind brushed against her cheeks as she stepped out of the car. Emily and Jason's house stood tall, a polished white 2-story home with the snow neatly cleared from the pathway. Several cars were already parked outside. Laughter and music drifted from inside. Vanessa walked toward the front door, gift in hand, her posture proud, graceful. Lights and shadows danced through the windows. She took one last breath. "Let's enjoy today." The door opened. Her mother stood there, but instead of warmth, her expression was off. "Oh, Vanessa." Margaret blinked, surprised. She paused, then shockingly blocked the doorway. "I'm sorry, Vanessa. This house is for family only. If you want to come in, you'll need to pay an entrance fee." A sarcastic smile touched her mother's lips. Vanessa blinked. "What are you talking about?" "Emily invited me," she said, recalling the email. Just then Emily appeared, wearing a kitchen apron and holding a wine glass. Voices and laughter spilled in from behind her. "Vanessa, you came." Emily beamed, then exchanged glances with her mother. A mean smirk crept onto her face, but like Mom said, "Just pay the 10. "Oh, that's right," she added, chuckling. "You probably don't have cash on you, do you?" Vanessa froze. This wasn't a joke, not even a cruel one. It was something colder. The look in Emily's eyes, was it pity or disgust? Guests at the entrance turned to look. Their curious stares pierced her. "I was invited," Vanessa said quietly, voice tight. "Of course," Margaret cut in. "But you're different, aren't you? A successful career woman. Surely you can afford a little entrance fee." Vanessa stood still. The irony was suffocating. Despite paying their mortgage every month, this was how they treated her. "Vanessa always ruins the mood," Emily said loudly enough for others to hear. Her mother nodded. "You're always so serious. You should enjoy life more. Not everything is about work or looking down on people." Vanessa's breath caught. Rage, sorrow, disbelief, it all swirled inside her. Around them, some guests shifted awkwardly, unsure where to look. Tears gathered in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Composure, that was her armor. "You're right," she said at last. Calm, measured. She placed the gift on the doorstep. "This is for you. I'm leaving now." "I knew it," Margaret scoffed. "Vanessa's always too uptight for parties." Vanessa turned and walked back to her car. Back straight, step steady. As she started the engine, something shifted inside her, not just hurt, something deeper, something releasing. Back home, she sat on her sofa and stared at her father's photo. "Dad," she whispered, "what does family even mean?" Then, without much thought, she opened her phone. She normally never posted anything personal, but tonight felt different. "Today I was invited to my sister's housewarming but was asked to pay an entrance fee because I'm family. Ironically, I've been paying most of my sister's mortgage every month." "What is family?" She hit post and exhaled. Vanessa's social media posts traveled faster than she had imagined. She was usually someone who kept things strictly professional online. Her posts were mostly about industry insights, leadership strategies, and tech trends. But something about that raw, honest moment, something about her words struck a nerve. The next morning, Vanessa woke to a flurry of notifications. Normally, she would have been up early, post-jog, already sipping her morning coffee. But last night, sleep had evaded her. Still half asleep, she reached for her phone and rubbed her eyes. Then she jolted upright. Hundreds of comments, thousands of likes. Her words had gone viral. Comment after comment poured in, strangers, colleagues, even old acquaintances opening up about their own complicated family dynamics. She never expected this outpouring. Part of her even considered deleting the post. But as she scrolled through, she saw that her story had given voice to so many others. "This isn't just my story anymore." She got up and walked to the kitchen, making herself coffee. Her thoughts spun. For so long, she had made choices based on calm, rational judgment. Emotions were something she rarely indulged in. But now, something inside her had changed. Enough is enough. She took a sip of the warm coffee and breathed in. "No more sacrificing myself silently." That morning, instead of heading straight to the office, Vanessa went to the bank. She had made her decision. At the counter, she spoke to the teller, just to confirm. "Miss Morrison," the teller said, "you'd like to stop all monthly mortgage transfers to this account?" "Yes," Vanessa replied. Her voice was quiet, but firm. "Completely. No more payments. It's time to prioritize my life." As she stepped out of the bank, a strange lightness came over her. It was like something heavy had been peeled off her back. For years, she'd carried the burden of her family's needs and expectations. And now, finally, she was walking forward on her own terms. At the office, she noticed something different. Her coworkers looked at her differently, warmer. Some even smiled gently as she passed. The post had been seen clearly by many. Still, Vanessa kept to her routine. She poured herself into work. But this time, something inside her felt lighter. Later that afternoon, her assistant Chloe came over, looking hesitant. "Vanessa," she said softly, "I saw your post." Vanessa looked up, bracing herself. I just wanted to say thank you. I've had similar experiences. What you said, it gave me courage. Vanessa smiled, touched. Thank you, Chloe. She hadn't posted to make a point, but somehow, it had empowered others. And that meant something. Just then, her phone rang. Emily. Vanessa stared at the screen for a second before answering. What have you done? Emily shouted the moment she picked up. That post. It's everywhere. Our neighbors are talking. We're being humiliated. Vanessa remained calm. Emily, I was simply expressing how I felt. But you didn't even mention names. Emily snapped. People shouldn't know it's us. Now everyone's gossiping they figured it out. Vanessa didn't flinch. Then maybe you should ask yourself why they were able to figure it out. Silence on the other end. Vanessa continued. There's something else. I've been covering your mortgage all this time, but I stopped the payments today. Emily gasped. Wait, what? You're kidding, right? I'm not. Her voice was soft, but unmistakably resolute. Think about how you treated me yesterday, Vanessa said. And ask yourself if I was paying your mortgage. Is that how you would treat me? Emily's voice cracked. Wait, Vanessa. We didn't know. I've been silent for a long time. I did it because of Dad, because he believed in family. But there's a difference between cherishing family and being used by them. She hung up. For a few moments, Vanessa sat there, her hands trembling slightly. She wasn't angry. She wasn't even sad. She felt free. Outside, snow had begun falling again. Meanwhile, across town, panic had settled into Emily and Jason's home. A letter from the bank had arrived. A sharp, cold notice. We cannot confirm your mortgage payment. Please contact us urgently. Emily's hands shook as she read it. Jason looked equally pale. What the hell is this? He asked. I don't know, Emily stammered. But deep down, she knew. She had always suspected someone was helping them. There had been those mysterious deposits like clockwork, but she never wanted to admit where they were coming from. Vanessa. Jason sat on the couch, stunned. You mean to tell me your sister's been paying for this house? Emily didn't answer. Her throat was dry. We're going to lose the house, Jason. He ran his hands through his hair. But why would she do that for us? And now, why would she stop? News of Vanessa's post continued to spread. A local news site picked it up, framing it under the headline, What are family bonds? Family tensions go viral. Her name wasn't mentioned, but her story was. The next evening, when Vanessa arrived home, a small bouquet of flowers lay at her door. No name, just a card. Thank you for your courage. In the following days, more letters came. Anonymous notes, gifts, quiet appreciation from strangers. On the third morning after the post, Vanessa's phone rang again, this time from a local community center. Miss Morrison, would you consider sharing your story at our upcoming workshop? On family relationships, communication, that sort of thing. Vanessa paused. She was about to answer when a news alert popped up on her phone and froze her in place. Young couple faces for closure after mortgage crisis. Viral family story. Hits reality. There was even a photo. People gathered outside Emily and Jason's house. Protesters, community volunteers, even reporters. Her heart dropped. She grabbed her keys and rushed out the door. When Vanessa arrived, she was stunned by the sight in front of her. A small crowd, maybe 20 or 30 people, had gathered. Some held signs, honesty and family. Stop financial abuse. Others simply stood in silence. Among them, she recognized a few familiar faces from community events. Even a local TV reporter stood off to the side, preparing for coverage. Several people in bank uniforms were speaking near the door, documents in hand. Vanessa stepped out of her car. Whispers spread through the crowd as they saw her. Some made way. Others gave her a soft nod. One older woman quietly said, "Thank you for your courage." Vanessa walked past them, steady and calm, toward the house. Just as she reached the door, it opened. Emily and Margaret stood there, pale, fearful, almost shaking. "What is happening?" Margaret whispered. Her eyes darted from face to face, before landing on her daughter. "Vanessa, did you bring this chaos to our home?" A bank officer stepped forward. "Miss Morrison, your mortgage payments are overdue. If not resolved, we'll begin foreclosure proceedings." Emily burst out, voice cracking. "What are you doing here? Here to humiliate us more?" Vanessa looked at her. "No," she said gently. "I came to talk." Margaret's face flushed with shame. "Are you really family?" she muttered. From the crowd, a voice responded. It was the elderly woman from earlier. She stepped forward. I too was betrayed by family once, she said quietly. But when the truth comes out, it can be the beginning of healing. There was a murmur of agreement. This wasn't just about Vanessa anymore. It had become something bigger. Vanessa took a deep breath. May I come in? She asked. We need to talk as a family. Emily and Margaret looked at each other and after a long pause, slowly nodded. The three of them stepped inside. The living room was immaculate, elegant. Furniture, soft lighting, expensive art. Vanessa sat down slowly and looked around. How much of this had I quietly paid for? I've been thinking a lot about what family really means, she said softly. Dad always told us to cherish each other. That's why I supported you financially without saying a word. But now I realize that wasn't real family. Emily blinked, confused. Supported us? What do you mean? Without a word, Vanessa opened her phone and pulled up her bank transactions. She handed it to her sister. Rows and rows of monthly payments every month for the last 2 years to the bank holding Emily and Jason's mortgage. Emily's jaw dropped. This can't be. Vanessa met her eyes. You didn't really? Not know. Did you? You must have suspected. Emily's voice trembled. I didn't want to believe it. Just then, Jason walked in, the foreclosure letter in his hand. He saw the phone screen and stopped cold. It was you, he said, stunned. Why? Vanessa looked at him. Because Dad's voice never left me. Because I thought that's what love meant, carrying each other. But I've realized something now. Real love doesn't mean silent sacrifice. It means honesty and boundaries. Margaret, who had been sitting in silence, suddenly burst into tears. I didn't know, she whispered. Ever since Thomas died, I felt like I lost everything. I couldn't even look at you, Vanessa. You reminded me too much of him. Vanessa's breath caught. That was it. That was the distance, the unexplained coldness, the subtle rejection. I never hated you, her mother continued. I just didn't know how to face the pain. And you were so strong, so composed. I thought you didn't need us. Vanessa walked over and knelt beside her mother, taking her hand. Mom, Dad loved all of us. He wanted us to lift each other up, not carry silent pain. Emily's voice cracked. We didn't know how to be honest. We didn't want to lose the house, so we ignored the signs. I'm sorry, Vanessa. That day at the door, what we said, I was cruel. Margaret nodded. Me too. I was bitter. I was jealous. Seeing you succeed, it scared me. I thought you'd left us behind. For the first time, Vanessa heard the words she'd waited her whole life to hear. I just wanted to feel like we were still a family, she said, tears finally brimming in her eyes. Emily reached out, and the three women sat together in silence, a new, raw kind of silence. Not cold, not distant, just real. Let's be honest from now on, Vanessa said, and learn to stand on our own. Outside, the crowd still lingered. Bank officers waited near their car. The three of them stepped outside again. Whispers stirred. Vanessa stepped forward and faced the people. I want to thank everyone for being here, she began. We've started a conversation not just within this house, but beyond. This may be our story, but it echoes a much larger one. Families are complicated, but with truth and dialogue, they can also heal. There was a soft wave of applause. Then, she turned to the bank officer and said quietly, I'll visit your branch tomorrow. We can discuss this month's payment. Emily looked at her in shock. Vanessa placed a hand on her shoulder. But after that, it's your turn to take responsibility. I understand, Emily said sincerely. We're ready. Margaret stepped forward too, taking both their hands. If Thomas were here, she said gently, he'd tell us not to embarrass ourselves. He'd say fix it, be better. She smiled faintly through her tears. From the crowd, the elderly woman stepped forward again. She looked at Vanessa kindly. Your courage is inspiring many people, she said. Sometimes telling the truth is the highest form of love. Vanessa nodded. She had spoken up not out of anger, but from years of holding everything in. And now, things had begun to change. 6 months later in the Boston suburbs, a gentle autumn breeze danced with falling leaves. Vanessa sat at a sunlit outdoor cafe with her mother Margaret and a new friend Dorothy, a warm woman she had met through the local senior center where Vanessa now volunteered. This tea is amazing, Margaret said with a smile. She looked brighter these days, even her wardrobe had more color. She'd joined yoga classes, started painting again. Thank you, Vanessa. You gave me a second chance at life. The Morrison family had changed. Emily and Jason had sold their luxurious house and downsized to a modest, comfortable home. For the first time in years, they lived within their means. I've stopped pretending, Emily had told Vanessa last week. Happiness isn't found in big houses. It's found in peace. She had even enrolled in financial literacy courses at the community college. Their marriage, once strained under pressure and pretense, now had room for something real. Margaret turned to Vanessa, eyes twinkling. I heard you're speaking at next week's workshop. Rebuilding family bonds? Vanessa nodded. Since her post, the community center had launched monthly events workshops focused on healing relationships. Vanessa had become an occasional guest speaker. Family is complicated, she would often say, but with honesty and some courage, it's never too late to rebuild. Even she had changed. She no longer carried everyone's weight alone. She spoke more openly, set boundaries, and allowed herself to receive love, not just give it. After leaving the cafe, she wandered through a quiet park. The golden light of autumn wrapped the trees in warmth. Sitting on a bench, she opened a photo of her father. Dad, she whispered. We took the long road, but we finally found our way back. That post, just a few lines of truth, had evolved from a late-night release into something far greater. It had challenged people to re-examine the meaning of family. And one line kept echoing in people's hearts. Sometimes speaking the truth is the greatest form of love. As the sun dipped, Vanessa rose from the bench. Tonight, there was a family dinner at Emily and Jason's new home. It was small, humble, but it felt full of real warmth. Not the kind you post about online, but the kind that sits quietly in the corners of a home. She took a deep breath and smiled. Things weren't perfect, they never would be, but they were honest now. And for the first time in years, they were real. She walked toward her car, the crisp breeze against her face, her heart light. A true family. Vanessa smiled. Maybe this wasn't the family Dad envisioned exactly, but it was the one he'd always hoped we'd become.